Good morning, everyone. My name is Dean Brown from TSN 1200, and I will be one of the MCs today on a momentous day. It's not often that you get to introduce a new owner to a new city and to an NHL franchise. It is a rare and exclusive thing, and thanks everybody for being here on a day I'm sure we will all remember. Every time there's a new owner, it is a new beginning, and today is a new beginning. I'm joined as always by, Gord, right there.
Yes. Momentous indeed. My name is Gord Wilson, and with Dean, we've made up the broadcast team in Ottawa since the franchise's first year, way back in 1992. We've had the pleasure of watching and observing and calling many of, if not all, of the franchise's greatest moments in its history. And it is an honor to be here as part of this announcement today.
Normally at these kinds of events, we would go around the room and point out some of the VIPs in attendance, politicians, former athletes, Hall of Famers, guys who think they should be Hall of Famers, owners, reporters. But today there's simply too many to mention, and I think that shows exactly what kind of an event this is. This is a star-studded room, and we're all here for one reason, so we should get on with that. Gord, let's start talking to some people who have bigger business cards than you and I.
Okay, our first speaker is the Commissioner of the National Hockey League. Would you please give a very warm Ottawa welcome to Gary Bettman.
I'm not used to that. Thank you all for being here today. I go back with this franchise almost as long as these guys. I was at games at the Civic Center at Lansdowne before this building was ever built, before Anna and Olivia Melnick were even born. And it's really exciting to be here. I think back to the early days of Rod Brydon and Bruce Firestone, and then Eugene Melnick stepped up to buy this franchise out of bankruptcy when nobody else was prepared to step up. And one of the hallmarks of ownership, which we're going to all see with Michael Andlauer, is a passion and a commitment to the franchise, to the game of hockey, and to Ottawa, the greater Ottawa area, Ottawa and Gatineau. I don't think there's ever been a season that we've gone into where there's been more optimism about the future of this franchise, both on and off the ice. The support from the business community, Ottawa and Gatineau, is perhaps the best ever. Season ticket sales and renewals, again, I think it's going to probably be the best ever for the season. And when you look at the team that's going to be on the ice, there's a great deal of optimism. Missing the playoffs by only 6 points with a young team that's balanced with some veterans, it's going to be great. But best of all, Michael Andlauer, as the owner of this franchise, with a great group of partners that he's put together, have the commitment, have the passion, and are really perfect for this franchise at this time. I don't think there's anybody who should have any concerns about the future of this franchise or the future of this franchise here in Ottawa. In fact, to the contrary, I think everybody can be assured that the best days of this franchise are yet to come. Michael has had an incredible career as a successful businessman. He's been involved at hockey at all levels, including having a fairly long-term limited partnership role with the Montreal Canadiens. He knows the game, he cares about the game, he's passionate about the game, and that's why I couldn't be more excited about the future of this franchise. And so we are all delighted, excited to welcome you and your group to the NHL. This is going to be terrific, so welcome.
Those are my employees. I got to meet them before here, and as I was telling them, I'm an employee-first business. I'm a player-first team owner, and it was really a lot of fun meeting with you this morning. A lot of you I've met already over the last long period of due diligence, which I'm not going to blame the NHL. I'm the one to blame for that. With all the owners that we have, a lot of them are in attendance tonight. But thank you for the kind words. Good morning, everybody. Bonjour tout le monde. I guess I can say finally, we did it. It was only 321 days ago when I found out that the centers were going to be on for sale. It's been a long road, but I must tell you, it's been worth the journey. I can really say I'm finally home. It's emotional. Thank you. It's a weird feeling, you know. I was telling an employee, I said, you know, I'm so mixed with so many emotions, and it reminds me about my wedding day. Excited, you know, overwhelmed a little bit, nervous, but I'm happy. Happy knowing that I'm in good company, and the future looks very bright. And by the way, for all those of you who know, I've been extremely happily married for the last 27 years. So these emotions are the right emotions, I guess, right? So this is good. This is a good thing. So today, my family and I are really excited to officially become part of this community, a part of the best fan base in the NHL, and a part of the National Capital Region, Ottawa's team, the Senators. Aujourd'hui, je suis ravi d'être ici parmi vous pour souligner cette occasion, le début d'une nouvelle ère pour les Sénateurs d'Ottawa, avec le but de gagner la Coupe Stanley. I want to thank you, Gary Bettman, and the NHL Board of Governors for giving me and the investors the confidence and the privilege to be members of such a great league. I want to thank Anna and Olivia Melnick, and Sheldon Plenner, who has acted as the governor and chair for the Senators through this intervening period, alongside fellow board members John Missick and Larry Zafman. Thank you for entrusting me to take over this marvelous franchise. Speaking of entrusting, I want to thank the people who invested with me on this team. It's a really unique group of investors who bring the unique set of qualities and passion both on and off the ice. We have partners who are already in the hockey business, who are represented by owners of 6 CHL teams, Joel Feldberg, Guelph Storm, Rocco Tulio, Oshawa Generals being 2 of them. There are partners who understand real estate development better than I could imagine, led by George Ormoyan, Paletta's, and Ottawa's very own Maholtra family. We have a consortium of passionate, successful Ottawa-Gatineau business entrepreneurs, led by Jeff York and Ted Wagstaff, who are so passionate about this team and are teaching me how unique and special Ottawa-Gatineau truly is. In order to make this happen, there were a number of advisors who worked countless hours, so I have to, even though the bill is pretty large, I have to give them a heads up, and particularly I want to thank Brad Ross at Goodman's and my team at Bolt on Capital, Adam and Peter. Je tiens aussi à remercier Jeff Molson et l'Organisation des Canadiens de Montréal pour ces 13 merveilleuses années passées à Montréal. J'ai acquis une expérience précieuse et appris les meilleures pratiques, ce qui me permet aujourd'hui de réussir ici à Ottawa. I want to thank my family for your support. My mom couldn't be here today. She tested positive for COVID, but I really wanted to acknowledge her. She's the one who raised me, taught me the importance of hard work, discipline, and most of all, respect. To my beautiful children, Matthew, Michael Jr., and Alexi, thank you for allowing me to spend their inheritance to pursue my passion. And to my wife, Lucy, she's my rock. A few times when this deal dragged along, she was the one who pushed me. There was some times I said, you know what, no more, I can't handle this, and she knew, and she pursued me to win this bid. So thank you, my love, for pushing me through. This is a great moment. So over the last few months, since the announcement, I've gotten to know a lot of the organization, from meeting the current players led by Brady Tkachuk and Claude Giroux, Thomas Chabot, to our retired players, including Chris Neal, Chris Phillips, and Danny Alfredson, to the coaching and support staff led by Pierre Dorion, DJ Smith, from security manager Bill, to meeting ushers, to our front office led by Aaron Crow, who by the way, probably one of the most incredible executors I've come across, and probably the gatekeeper of making this such an exceptional organization. I met a lot of our sponsors. I got to admire the Sensplex facility, the one here in Canada. I went to Belleville. I'm excited to be back in the American Hockey League. This is where I cut my teeth in pro hockey in 2003. I've been already to Belleville, met many of the members of the team there, even including the mayor, and assured him that I'm keeping the team in Belleville. Belleville's a true hockey town. I spent a number of years watching the team. I know how important this team is to the community and how important they are to the overall strategy of the Ottawa Senators. And last, but most certainly not least, the fans. Like in my letter to you last night, you're the team's lifeline. You're passionate. I find it's so great to see how passionate this and grassroots you are. You're understated, underestimated in my opinion. We play between two major markets, Toronto and Montreal. They both believe they're the center of the hockey universe. I've been the underdog all my life, and I know we have the team, the staff, the fans, the community to prove them wrong. So while I officially wear the title of owner of Ottawa Senators, I understand that this city and the fans, you're the true owners. And I promise to take care of your team with the utmost respect, integrity, and care, both on and off the ice. The future looks, as the Commissioner said, the future looks bright here in Ottawa. It's very bright, in my opinion. And today, first order of the day, I'm very pleased that Cyril Leeder has accepted the role of CEO and President. It's great. I was when I met with the employees a little earlier on, I was a little bit intimidated by the ovation I got. And when I told them that Cyril was coming back, they were sort of whistling. I got an even louder ovation, which is great. So I think I did the right thing. He's got 25 years of experience with the team. Obviously, the staff knows him. He knows the market. And everyone I've spoken to him has the utmost respect for him. He loves this city, and he truly bleeds red, black, and gold. Now, Cyril and I speak the same language when it comes to business and creating a culture that cares. Through the process, he's been a huge resource for me, so I'm excited. On the ice, it's all about having a winning team. With the goal of bringing home a Stanley Cup, plain and simple. Off the ice, it's about being inclusive, bringing the community closer together, being best in class, and being able to make a positive difference. Our Sens Community Foundation is a very important part of this franchise, evidenced by me showing up, even though I wasn't the official owner, on the golf tournament the other day. It's important for both the community and also for me and my family. I look forward to playing an active role in the process of restoring the foundation to its place as a pillar of our community. Together, and I say together, we will make the city proud, and let's bring the cup back to Ottawa. Go Sens, go.
going to thank Michael for that introduction and for this opportunity. It's not often in life you get a second chance or a do-over on things that are really important to you, and clearly this is one of those occasions for me personally, and it's not lost on me that I wouldn't get this opportunity if it wasn't for Michael, so thank you very much. And a wise man, my father once told me not to stand between your friends and a drink, so I'm going to be brief here. I'm the last thing between this and a little champagne. But I do want to say that I'm very excited, obviously, about the opportunity to work with Michael, the team, and our community in the months and the years ahead. And I do want to take the opportunity to say a few thank yous. First, to my wife, Lydia. When you jump back into the fire head first, you're not only committing yourself and your lifestyle, but those close to you, and she's been extremely supportive through this whole process. And I know that having her unconditional support as I go forward is going to make the job that lies ahead a little more manageable. So thank you, dear, for that. I also want to thank the guys at Myers, Harry and Rob Muse. I worked there the last 5 years. They've been a great organization to work for. Harry, Rob, the executive team, the 1,000 employees that really make that place go. They're special people, and they welcomed me there and gave me an opportunity. And when I told Harry and Rob that I was coming back to the Senators, they didn't actually make it easy for me to leave, I will say that. But once it was clear I was coming back, they certainly helped with the transition, and they've made it easy for me to be here in front of you today. So Harry and Rob, a big thank you. And we do have a big agenda. We've got lots of work to do. I think Michael said the team's in a good spot. There's still a lot of work ahead, so I want to get started with that today, my first executive decision or announcement. And he mentioned the role that Erin's played both in operating the team and shepherding the transaction, this very complicated transaction. She's done a great job there. She's our CFO. She's very capable, very competent. I believe the reigning CFO of the year here in Ottawa. As Michael said, we are in the winning business, so it's good to win those things too. But she's more than a CFO, and I'll be relying on her a lot as we go forward. So in addition to her duties as the Chief Financial Officer of the Ottawa Senators, she's also going to become the new Chief Operating Officer and wear the double hat. So Erin, thank you and congratulations. And now get to work, okay? So that's part of the deal. And lastly, I'm excited. I'm very grateful. I hope that's coming through. Sometimes in life you've got to take important steps going forward, even when the path isn't really clear that lies ahead. Clearly for me, this is one of those situations and one of those important steps. I'm very thankful and grateful and looking forward to the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Cyril. Gord and I were very fortunate this morning after Mr. Andlauer met with the staff here. We were afforded a chance to meet him for the first time and sat down for about 15 minutes just to kind of get to know each other. I guess he requested a meeting with some of the oldest people here, and Gord and I are that. So we were called in, and in the bowels underneath here, people know. When you're having a meeting with the big guy, people know what's going on. So Gord and I have been asked between then and now, so what's he like? What's it like? I said, well, two things you notice right off the bat. Very down to earth, very determined, and he's got a good sense of humor, as you've seen. We started talking about things other than hockey, and we were talking about the fact that all three of us are big dog guys. I've got 2 Newfs, he's got 2 Goldens. He has a Rottweiler and your Frenchie, yes. And he was saying, I said, well, you got to bring him to the rink. He said, well, they've already been to the rink. But he said, I had to ask, if it's okay to bring the dogs. And I said, ask? I said, you're the owner of the team. You got $1 billion company. He goes, no, it's $2 billion. So that's what you can anticipate. The first thing he told us, it's not Mr. Andlauer, it's Michael. And hopefully over time, Gord and I will get to the point where we call him just Mike. So welcome to Ottawa, sir. And everyone's so happy to have you here. Appreciate it. As everyone is handed a glass of champagne, it's going to be time now for the media to ask some questions, or if anybody else would like to ask some questions, just stay and ask if you'd like. And to orchestrate that, here's Brian Morris.
Thanks, Dean. For the media in the back, there's Chris and Jenna and Jack have wireless mics. If you just raise your hand and identify yourself. The one thing we'll ask, if you want to start over here, for one thing we'll ask for all media in attendance, if you could just introduce yourself and your media affiliation will certainly help Mike get used to working with you. So, want to start on your right? Go ahead.
Yeah, Ian Mendes with The Athletic. Welcome to Ottawa. I got two questions for you, Michael, if that's okay. First question would be, you've probably had a lot of complicated financial transactions closing over the years. How would you relate this one maybe against some of the other big deals that you've closed over the years?
Can you hear me? Yeah, this was a long process. I think I said finally 321 days. It was definitely complicated. Like I said, the last 3 months, if I want to be subjective about this, and the last 3 months was on me. It was on me, really. I have, the Ottawa Gatineau group. I think is our 11 partners in that group. The diligence that the NHL puts you through is the right thing. Gary has always talked about at the Board of Governor meetings about the importance of stability. Respect that, and I made it very difficult for the NHL to go that. That was the last 3 months since June. So, and I think it's obviously we made it to the finish line, so it went well. The first 7 months were a little bit different, let's just say, and I'll just leave it at that.
In your letter yesterday to season ticket holders, and again, you said it here today, that you characterize yourself as an underdog. And I'm wondering if you can just expand on that, why you think the underdog label fits you.
Well, I mean, pretty much my story. I don't want, like I said, I don't want to get too close. I don't want to elaborate too much, but I was raised by my mom. On the other side of the tracks in Montreal, and in the 70s, and that wasn't very easy for her. Anyway, she always focused on hard work, education, respect, and I put myself through school, university particularly, it's like freight to pay for my university in the trucking. Started my own business. And well, a lot of people didn't think I was going to be that successful. So I've always taken that. In Hamilton, hockey didn't do well in the previous, and they said you couldn't make a go of it in Hamilton. There for 20 years and kept hockey in Hamilton. I've always liked that challenge about us, and I think Ottawa being a small market, like I alluded to, between two major. I like that. I like that underdog feel. Makes us work harder, more determined, more passionate, and I really feel this is, we have the right recipe. The one thing I've noticed in my observations, in talking to the people around here, and even on the ice and off the ice, the players, you can feel that passion. You can feel that care. And for me, the recipe is always care more. So bring it on. I'm okay to be the underdog.
Okay. To your left, Bruce.
Rock from Post Media. Michael, what's your first priority as owner? And I just had a second question.
Yeah, good to finally meet you, Bruce. You know so much about me. And
We'll tell you about him.
I know you're a fan, so that's the main thing. My priority is really, off the bat, is to learn. I've got a lot to learn here about the Ottawa Gatineau. That's why I've surrounded myself with a great group of partners. You can't go in there thinking that you know it all. I like best practices. I'm a best practice guy. I've learned a lot in Montreal. I think, so I'll observe here and see what we can do that makes it better. So for me, it's about my first order of the day is to learn, observe, and collaborate, and that's my first order of the day. Certainly, there's some pressing matters on the table. One of them is the real estate. We'll get going. I've already met with Toby Nussbaum at the NTC and with the mayor on several occasions. And I'll elaborate on that a little later on, or if there's another question, but that would be my priority.
And just, you talked about winning a Stanley Cup. What's your plan to get this team here?
What's the plan to get which?
What's the plan to get the Senators to win a Stanley Cup, generally speaking?
I'm not going to tell you, if then the other teams are going to know. It is my passion. It truly is my passion to win a cup. Like most young Canadians growing up, especially where hockey is a fabric of the community, like Ottawa is. I believe I can make a difference. I think I've done it at different levels of hockey, whether it be in the American Hockey League or in the OHL. The fundamentals are the same, but I'm determined I'm determined.
Great. To your right, Soha.
Sylvain Saint-Laurent du Journal Le Droit. Depuis hier soir, vous faites référence beaucoup à la région d'Ottawa-Gatineau. Oui. Le mot Gatineau n'a pas souvent été associé aux sénateurs depuis 30 ans. Pourquoi est-ce que c'est important pour vous?
Le fait que je peux vous répondre en français, c'est très important. Ça fait partie de la communauté. C'est drôle, je viens juste de déménager à une maison à Westboro. Et puis, quelqu'un m'a dit que, hey, vous devrez être membre à un terrain de golf qui s'appelle Royal Ottawa. Et j'ai dit, oh, OK, where is it? Et il me dit, c'est à Gatineau. Oh, c'est juste de l'autre côté du pont. Ça fait partie de la communauté. Et pour moi, c'est important. C'est important pour moi. Ça va être... c'est logique, c'est naturel.
Déjà des idées, des stratégies pour peut-être essayer d'aller rejoindre les francophones du Québec, mais aussi de l'Est de l'Ontario?
Stratégie en ce moment, non. Je suis pas. Je vais avoir une équipe qui va, et ça va être une de mes un de mes buts, c'est certain. C'est trop proche pour nous pour ne pas prendre avantage et pour qu'ils apprécient que c'est aussi leur équipe.
To your left.
Claire Hanna with TSN. Hi, Mr. Andlauer. Congratulations.
That's Michael.
Okay, Michael. You alluded to the real estate, and I'm curious, where do you envision the physical footprint of this building being maybe in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, well, the way construction goes, I presume we'll probably be here in 5 years. And the way that some governments move sometimes, it takes a little longer than, I'm looking at my real estate friends here, and they're smiling. Sometimes it takes a little longer than we'd like to. Here's the thing on the real estate side. In speaking with the mayor in particular, and in speaking to other stakeholders, including the fans, the mayor wants it, the NTC wants it, the Ottawa Senators want it, the fans want it. So we're all going in the same direction. So it's a matter of collaborating, working together, and seeing what works, and make it a truly win-win-win-win situation. So I'm excited about that. I've confronted other initiatives where all of a sudden, you get headwinds from one of the parties, and then it becomes contentious, and it doesn't happen. So I'm excited about the opportunity. I was unable to make the mayor's breakfast, but I did go see Toby Nussbaum at the NCC later that day, and he wants to work, and he even suggested he wants to work with the mayor on this. So I think there's a collaborative. There's definitely good momentum here. So let's see where it goes. I think one of the first goals I'm going to ask Cyril to get involved in is on the real estate side for this year.
And just
Michael, you said a few times that
Whatever decision we do on an arena will be through the lens of the fan. I mean, used that term a number of times, so that's how we'll approach it. I can't tell you exactly where it's going to be in 10 years, but it will be with the fan first lens that we'll be looking through that. So.
And then just a short follow-up. You said you were a player, or a players first team owner. We heard from one of your players with the Hamilton Bulldogs that you probably made an appearance every 5 games. How often do you see yourself being around this team and interacting with the players?
I'm an employee first. I'm a player first. I think that's part of the success. In terms of bringing it's collaborative. It's about good communication. I definitely won't be there every 5 games. I'll probably be there 4 out of 5 games. By the way, we got a place here in Westboro, so I want to be part of this community. I'm the CEO of a publicly traded company, so obviously I have my place in the GTA, but it's only a short 45-minute flight back and forth, so it's pretty. I think sometimes you go from one end of. What? Pardon? I was here last night. Yes, first day on the job, and it's a full house. If I can get 42 more full houses, that'd be awesome. I'm sorry. Did I answer your question? Yeah. Okay.
To your right, Kyle.
Kyle Bukowskis from Sportsnet. Just kind of pushing that thought one step further, Michael. I mean, you've been around championships, you've won. I'm curious your philosophy around winning and what breeds those type of results within an organization from the top on down.
Yeah, probably Clara said player first. It's listening, it's good communication, holding people accountable, but the people who are held accountable understand what they're made accountable for. So to me it's common sense. People ask me if I'm a hands-on owner. Yeah, I'm hands-on because I'm passionate, but I'm not the one making the decisions. And that's if I make the decisions, I can't hold people accountable. So, but it's true communication. It's really be honest, be transparent, and we all have the same common goal. Simple as that.
Great. Also to your right, Wayne.
Michael, welcome. And I believe we are Wayne Scanlon from Sportsnet over here.
Hey, Wayne.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think we are Westboro neighbors as well, so welcome to the neighborhood as well.
Oh, thank you.
Just wondering, with your minority partners here, how do you expect to get them involved? Will it be on a day-to-day basis? Will it mostly be on the business side? How will that work?
Typically, this type of partnership will have board meetings, probably 4 times a year, I would imagine. I always have an open door policy, but as we look at things, like I said, I have a great partnership that looks at all the different aspects of our business. To me, it's an open door policy as I see it, but at the same time, we have basically how we run a business. That's how we're gonna run it. Yeah.
Great. Another one down the first baseline. Go ahead.
Matthew Kupfer from CBC News. Going back to real estate and the discussion about the arena, mostly focused on the LeBreton Flats area. You've obviously mentioned the NCC. Is that really your vision, your target for this, or are you also considering other locations for when the Senators leave Canada?
Yeah, that's an easy question to answer. To me, and in talking to the mayor as well, I look options. To me, the most important thing is what's important for the fans. If I can increase the fan experience, that's what I'm here for. So probably the fans will help me dictate where the best place to be. But like I said, I have a mayor who's motivated. I don't know. We got federal buildings that are empty. We got the NCC with the best piece of land available in any major city in probably North America that's available for development. And obviously this building, we're gonna, we've done some upgrades here as well. In the meantime, I think you mentioned, Claire, about how many years at 5, I figure we'll be here for the next 5 years. So we'll have to, invest a little bit more in here as well to make the fan experience. So it's all around the fan experience. That's how I'm going to look at it.
Okay. Also to your right.
Hello, Natalie Van Roy with CTV Ottawa. Specifically in terms of that timeline, you mentioned you see the team here in 5 years. When do you see that move happening?
I can't. I mean, maybe the team's not here in 5 years if the governments move quickly. If we make decisions are made. I cannot predict the future on that front. So I don't know. I can't answer that question, especially not. It's my second day on the job.
Great. To your left there, gentlemen.
Murray Pam, Full Press Hockey.
Hi, Murray.
Hi. You grew up obviously in Montreal. You're a lifelong Montreal Canadiens fan. You became part owner. What was the family reaction when you said you wanted to bid on the Ottawa Senators?
It was mixed. Well, not mixed. It was it was a shock. My wife loved it because now she got to be able to go in my closet and just clean out all the Habs gear out of there. Make space in her closet. Yeah, we certainly have. Hockey is part of our family makeup. And my son works for the NHL, and I'll leave it at that, right, Alexi? So we've, 20 years, 2003, so 20 years involved. They've grown up in the game. They saw the passion, and ultimately the thrill of winning a cup, whatever league you are, a championship, a gold medal, it's makes it all worthwhile. So I guess as Jeff Molson so eloquently put it for me, and by the way, it's a wonderful 13 years with Jeff. We've learned a lot together, but as he eloquently said, you should have your own team. And I thought, okay, let's do it. So hopefully that answers your question.
Great. I think we have 3 more to your left.
Michael, Tim Baines from Post Media. Again, welcome to Ottawa. Take us back to those humble beginnings and your passion for hockey. Where did it start? From your earliest memories, why hockey?
Why hockey? It's part of the fabric of our country, please.
Where did you develop the passion for it? Were you a player?
Yeah, no, I mean, certainly, my mom and I lived on the top floor of a duplex, and it was actually right across the street from McDonald Park. So I'd, put my skates on and tiptoe across the street, because you don't want to blaze in, and walk over to the outdoor rink and play until my mom turned the lights off, on and off in the window, and I had to go back home. So you're playing all day. And in those days, my idol was Guy Lafleur, and and you grow up playing hockey like most young Canadians do, boys and girls, and dream of one day being a professional hockey player. So I mean, that's a typical Canadian dream. On a side note, it's nice to see that there's a professional hockey league, and for the women too, that they have a dream now to become professional hockey players.
The next is the back to your right.
Bonjour Michael, Yannick Seneni de la radio Cogeco du côté de Gatineau. Je reviens un peu sur le fait que vous parlez souvent de Ottawa-Gatineau. À chaque fois, vous mentionnez Gatineau. Et dans votre lettre, vous avez parlé de vous démarquer de Toronto et de Montréal. Surtout Montréal, comment on va se démarquer de ce marché-là? Parce qu'on se promène à Gatineau, les casquettes qu'on voit, les chandails qu'on voit, c'est majoritairement le Canadien, mais l'équipe la plus proche est quand même Ottawa. Comment se démarquer de ces gros marchés-là?
2 billets à la fois. En fait, il faut se prouver en premier, faire partie de la communauté, Moi, j'habite à Toronto et puis j'étais partisan du Canadien. Ça se trouve partout. Et, pour moi, étant donné, je regarde la ville de Québec. C'est un autre sujet, la ville de Québec. On en parlera plus tard, un autre jour, probablement pas aujourd'hui, mais à la fin de la journée, ils avaient une équipe dans la Ligue nationale, puis ils n'étaient pas partisans du Canadien non plus. Alors, ça, c'est ma stratégie.
Great. We'll go to our last two, Ian and then John.
One question each. We haven't even asked a question to Gary here. So.
No kidding.
I just want to ask you, Gary, if you could talk a little bit about the process, that this ended up being a 10-month situation. I'm wondering, just broad strokes, was this everything you thought it would be when this team was put for sale back in November?
Yeah, actually, I think this process was really well run. Sheldon Plenner, on behalf of the estate, deserves a great deal of credit for that. Sal Galattiotto, who was the banker who was handling it. You know, how many days did you say it was? 300? 21. But the process really wasn't that long. What was gratifying was to see the number of bidders, and everybody had to sort through the bidders and talk about being a winner and being committed and devoting resources to do it. Michael was the one who came out on top of what was not an extraordinarily different process than we've seen in other franchises. I think what made this a little bit different was two things. One, normally when a franchise is being sold, you don't hear about it on day one. Obviously, when Eugene Melnick's untimely passing triggered this, everybody was speculating from day one. Well, there was a period of mourning, and frankly and appropriately, people, particularly Anna and Olivia, weren't focused on the franchise being sold. They were really more grieving what was a very, very sad and traumatic loss for everybody, for all of us in the NHL family. So when the process actually began, the second part that made it seem longer was, and some of you can raise your hands if you want to plead guilty, there was a lot of speculation as to what was going on. Some of it was correct and a lot of it wasn't. And so the combination of the two made this seem longer than it was. The most important elements of this was the process came to a great conclusion and we got a great owner. And that's really what this was about, not about how quickly it took.
And my final question for Michael would be the importance of allowing Anna and Olivia Melnick to retain a stake in this, and where do you see their voice and their role here maybe moving forward?
Now, that's really for Anna and Olivia to answer. And we've had a couple of conversations together, so it's really preliminary. But to me, if you have the passion, you're committed to this community, and you care more, I'll open the doors to anybody. So it's a work process. I mean, Olivia's going to Queens, and you know, Anna's, you know, they're young ladies, and who knows what their ambitions are. But you know, like I said, it's a privilege to have them, for them to give me the torch of this great hockey team.
Well, and also, and you and I have discussed this, their wanting to stay in is a great tribute and testament to their father. And I think it's wonderful, and I know Michael does, that they're staying in.
Great. I'll wrap up the formal proceedings with John on your left.
John Abbott, TSN. Michael, welcome and congrats. What I recall from your time with the Bulldogs and Canadians is you were really tight with the alumni. I see Chris Phillips and Alfie sitting in front of me here. Do you plan on having the alumni play a big role for you in Ottawa?
Absolutely. That's one of the best practices that Montreal has. Actually, funny enough, you mentioned, you know, alumni. Ray-Jean Houle called me when he found out, and he left me a voicemail. I was driving down, whatever, the 404 when I pulled a message, and he was so emotional about it that I must admit I actually started tearing. And I kind of go, why did Réjean Houle, he doesn't know that, by the way, so this is true. And I go, why? And all I could think of is Réjean Houle, my boyhood idol, Guy Lafleur, Yvon Cournoyer, Monsieur Béliveau, and what they represented to the city. And one of the first orders of the day when Jeff and I, in partnership, bought the team was to make Guy Lafleur on our payroll for the rest of his life. It was the right thing to do, and for me, I was pretty happy about that too. But my point being is that the alumni are important to me, and I'm talking, to Chris Neal the other day on the golf course. And I said, what do we do? How do we get? So I already reached out to Laurie Boschman, and it's definitely one of my priorities here, for sure. Once a Sen, always a Sen.
Great. That will conclude the formal portion of questions and answers. We'll ask now if Aaron Crow and Pierre Dorian could join us on stage. We'll do a photo op with the 5 Senators, power brokers in attendance here. So come on stage and first of all, I guess a round of applause for the thank you very much. Absolutely.
I feel like draft day.
There you go. Why don't you get that from Pierre then? Here, if it's draft day, you should get it from you.
With our first congratulations.
We'll do a toast in a moment if you want to grab one. Does everybody have one? Not yet. Okay. They're out for them around. I think most have been able to do this, so I guess on behalf of the Senators, propose a toast to Michael Andlauer and the new era of the Ottawa Senators.